on the correspondence team match played between my video lessons group and the team from CARPE DIEM, and this was played on board 164. Our man is rachedid versus Cold War, and rating advantage on board 164 is about mid 1600s versus high 14, low 1500s. Okay, let's have a look here. With correct play, I think White could have held on to this. So it's got mostly an instructive endgame to it. They're playing a slower line of, less common line of the Ruy Lopez. Black is willing to give up this pawn. He'll eventually probably get this one back. Although I don't know, maybe White could try to hang on to it. But White doesn't. It's probably wise not to go pawn grabbing in the opening. And now he covers the pawn. And just a little bit of maneuvering. Probably a little early to do maneuvering. The development isn't complete yet, but now this bishop's not going anywhere. Black doesn't need to take it right now. Black should probably continue his development, castle, and then play f5. And then he's threatening to play f4. And this will start giving Black some reasonable attacking chances. Let's just look at that. Now let's make a developing move for White. Let's put this here just to reinforce this square. Okay, now f5. Now the threat is f4. White can't play h3 because nothing will be protecting the bishop. Knight takes, and it's a free piece. See, there's a pin here. So White pretty much obligated to take. And now looks like maybe Black's got some reasonable attacking chances. Now there's a little trick here. I've shown it in so many videos I'm forgetting about it. Can White get away with knight takes? Well, it's not protected. Let's see. The point is we want to go after this knight, so I'm not seeing things right. Let me back it up slightly. Yeah, there is an attack on this square, so okay, we'll forgive him for grabbing this, but I think he should still try to break with f4. And he doesn't. I mean, with f5. Come on, go straight there. Okay, arrow. All right. Now, for what it's worth, Black has picked up the two bishops, and for also what it's worth, the bishop on g4 is nicely posted. White can't get rid of it, so this might be a good position to just castle queenside right now, and then consider running the rook pawn up. But doesn't quite go that way. And here Black's clearly showing his intent to attack on the king side, possibly putting the queen on f6 would have been better. Although, let's see, can White now get away with taking this pawn? Black is going to get an attack. h4 is coming, and let's see, h4, you can't take the knight, you can take this way. Now let's bring the queen in here. Now the threat is to play rook takes. It's interesting. It's risky. I think Black defended this well, though. Let's see what he does. He plays queen d2, offering a queen trade to take the pressure off. And now the attack is broken, and Black just has the advantage of bishop over knight. And Black has the initiative. Black's one creating the threats, but White's always hanging on. And here Black's got the doubled rooks, and he gets one to the 7th, and the king looks dangerously posted here, but Black just can't take advantage of it. He can't get this bishop in to check, and even then White has resources. So they just do a little bit of maneuvering, and Black's got the 7th, but White's hanging on, and White's not very aggressively posted, but White should be happy with the draw here, and I believe he can get it. Now white goes and blunders a pawn here with d4. There's a little trick based on a pin. Bishop takes b4, but black still is close, or white's still close to holding on here. His trump, even though he's down a pawn, his trump is the fact that the black queenside pawns aren't mobilized, and there is a double pawn over there, and white can get a passed pawn on the king side to create some counterplay and then activate his rook, and we'll see here in just a little bit how this was possible. But at this point, it's coming right up. White commits a pretty much a fatal error, and the game ends quickly. Okay. White can probably draw with rook h3. Now, a lot of people are unwilling to do something like this, but let's think about it. Okay, I was talking about how the white pawn, the black pawns on the queen side weren't really mobile. They're not. They're still not. It's going to take a while to get one to make a queen. The white pawns are advanced. So let's look at the obvious move, that a reason why we wouldn't play rook h3, simply because black picks up this pawn, and then this one is not far behind, and you've got this nice massive pawn majority over here that's going to run up the board. Well, you can only move one at a time. If you move more than one at a time, they go awful slow. White just needs to run one of his. Now let's see what black can do. I mean, what white can do. Let's go menace this pawn. Okay, if you want to go after these pawns, suddenly this pawn is going to get very, very, very dangerous. Here, I'll just illustrate. Check. Now we're going to go with the king. You probably better keep him over here. There comes another check, and suddenly white's got a lot of counterplay here. I think taking this pawn is just too slow. Let's see. Bring the rook down. Give a check. Here comes another check. Where are you going to go? Back here? Well, here comes another check. And if anything, even if white can't win this, I mean, the moment white goes the wrong direction, suddenly, this position is going to get awful shaky for white in a hurry. I mean, for black in a hurry here. Let's see, rook here. Check. I'll give this up. Now I'm on this pawn, and this pawn remains a danger. If you bring the rook over to protect it, like I say, this pawn gets very dangerous. And which one are you going to run? This one? Okay, we'll watch. Here it goes. Now, white should be happy with the draw if that's the way it's going to go. Let's see. Put this here. Maybe I'm finally finding a win for black here, as these pawns are getting kind of dangerous. I'm sure white could do better than what I've done here, but then again, let's see. With deeper analysis, I'm sure a white can hold on here. That's just one sample line. Let's go back to what actually happened. But that's black's or white's only chance, is to activate his rook, but he can still maybe hold on if he just backs up his rook here. This is another alternative. Just back the rook up. Make black prove that he can do something. And, the possibility of still coming up with this exists. But what white does is white gives up e5, and suddenly the black king comes in where he couldn't have come in before. And this pawn is picked up, and now black pretty much has a routine win. Black will probably win the pawn on g5, and there's little, if anything, that White can do about it. But with correct play, I think Black could have held a draw there. Okay, the other game is very short. Let's bring it up. Let's see. Hopefully it'll start at move 1. Let's flip the board. Oops, not the fin. I don't want the fin. I want the PGN. Okay. No, doesn't put it on the. Didn't put it on the beginning. Okay. Let's see what happened here. It's hard to believe this game ends in 9 moves, especially in a Caro-Kann. Well, what happens is Black makes a gross blunder. Is what happens. Now here, going after queen knight pawns, we've seen it a few times in this video series. Sometimes it can really backfire. It might have been okay to do this with correct play, but Black has to succumb to a few things about his game. They're just not going to be comfortable. We'll see what we mean. So if you're playing a Caro-Kann, you're guaranteed, pretty much guaranteed, an even game. Why try to press for a win out of a Caro-Kann? Just play solid and let White try to overextend himself trying to beat it. Okay, with Black, your objective is equalize first. You're not equal if you don't have your complete development. So White decides to gambit the pawn, and Black bites. And all of a sudden, here comes a knight move with some dastardly threats. The threat is knight c7 check. And Black's only defense is to either move his king and he can't castle, or put his knight on a6. But Black should be okay there. He's just going to be behind in development. He's still got to get his king knight out. He's got to get his king bishop out, and then he's got to get castled. Meanwhile, White's got 4 minor pieces out. I think grabbing this pawn, even though it puts Black a pawn ahead, it's just giving a lot of chances to White. Now let's try knight a6, just for the sake of trying it. Now Black does have pressure on c2, but does he want to be collecting pawns? Probably not. White just got this nice lead in development here. Okay, queen takes. Now Black's up 2 pawns. The queen is misplaced. Maybe it's not. Let's see. What else can White do here? C3 maybe. Maybe knight a6 has some merit to it. Maybe it's one of these positions that you're going to have to spend hours and hours on if you really want to find the truth. Why take a chance like this right out of the opening when you can play a safe normal line and get your pieces out? So I don't know what would happen had Black done this. It's a good question. We don't know because it didn't happen. Is White prepared to give up a second pawn? And, castling, give up a second pawn and try to win one back and then have the initiative, have enough tempos for the other pawn. It's possible. I guess we'll never know. I do like the idea of castling, and let's just see, just for the sake of argument. Look how the White army is mobilized. And, this bishop's loose. Let's go ahead and take our pawn right now, because you can't take it back. And Black has to finish his development. How's he going to do that? So he can get castled. Okay, let's put this here. Well, suddenly here comes this knight check. Whoops! And now the Black king can't castle. So, I mean, not saying this isn't a forced line, obviously, but yeah, I guess White can give up that pawn on c2. You don't have to guard it. But White put yourself on the defensive right in the beginning. It's not worth it to win a pawn in the first few moves and then have to sit there and play defense for the next 20 moves, because one inaccuracy will spoil defeat. Now, maybe black thought his queen was getting trapped. Where does, I don't know, there's an exit check. I don't know what went through black's mind. Playing too many games, taking seconds on a move. I don't know what he did wrong, but he threw the game away with, whoops, he didn't play that. He threw the game away with queen takes b5. And white simply recaptured with check, and white's ahead of queen for the knight. And black resigned, and that's this game in a nutshell. Didn't have to happen with correct play. Let's go back to when he plays queen b6. What's wrong with knight c6? Okay, if he takes, this e5 pawn becomes weak. White'll probably safely play something like c3. Then you can kind of come into a French defense if you want. You can go ahead and play that move. It's like a French defense, except you've got the bishop out. That's got to be a bonus. Or when white offered the pawn, white can no longer make a pawn chain here. What if black develops his knight here? Why grab a pawn and fall behind? This could be, well, let's see. There could be problems here. Let's see. Takes. Now, is there anything to be had with knight a4? Maybe not. Let's see. Queen a5 check. c3 is forced. But looks to me like black's done well with that. Maybe I missed something. White's got a bunch of weak pawns. e3 and e5 in particular. What can I say? Take your time in your correspondence games. Don't go to, you won't lose your queen so quickly like this, or you won't run the risk of being 2 pawns ahead and then never being able to utilize those pawns as you see one drop and then the pressure doesn't let up. Anyway, well done by rachedid, and better luck next time to Cold War. Thanks all for watching. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Take care.